but I am confident that the clip is in the chassis, centered and square. I was able to check front to back measurements in a couple of places, and I was able to go across from the same points up to the front of the frame rails, because I cut the two frame rails identical and put them in place identical, and just everything kept matching when I was going off of the frame. So I'm confident that it's in and it's square, and then we can move on from here. Finished cutting away the A-frame factory setup for the transmission crossmember. Now that we got that out of the way, I want to go ahead and get the engine trans detached over there, get it test fit in here. That way I can kind of eyeball, see what I want to do. If I want to do a trans crossmember, I probably do just want to put some structure back in there. And then we'll also be able to check our steering shaft setup, make sure that's all going to look like it's going to work. We're also going to be able to see what kind of side-to-side movement we have, if we need to open up a little more space there, or if we need to center the engine, or whatever we want to do with that. And then, at that point, I would like to try to set this thing down on the ground to see where our ride height's going to end up. But we'll just see where we get to before doing that, because maybe I just want to go ahead and tackle the rear end once everything's up in the air. Heck yeah, I'm super happy with where this ride height's coming out. It's really about where I targeted it. Still don't have full weight of the transmission because that's on blocks underneath the car, and the back end is still up in the air. But man, we came down, this wheel centered up really nice in this wheel well. I still got the engine's like in place. However, you know, it's still got to have a little bit of wiggle room around there. We got a few things that are tight, so let's take a look. For starters, my clearance down here came out exactly how we had planned. You can see we got a little clearance from the exhaust manifold to the frame. Same going in on this side. What got really tight was the transmission dipstick. I had to pull that out. This valve cover is going to be very tight, however, it looks like it will fit. At worst, I might need to trim just this corner. But this valve cover's got a pretty big notch in it, so that's actually going to clear, I believe. Had to pull the oil sending units off the back. They would actually fit in here the way it is. Same with the EGR valve. However, pulling them out of the way, it should have a lot more room. Probably not going to run the EGR valve anyway, just because we'll be deleting the emissions and trying to simplify everything as much as possible on here. But, I mean, dang, the thing's in there. There's just miles of hood clearance in here. It's kind of no wonder all the old cars ended up with blowers and stuff on them for the guys that did performance, because there's just all the room you could want, or a tunnel ram. But we won't be doing any of that. We just wanted to get it down, and then I kind of bounced it a little bit to get the ride height to kind of see where it's at. You know, this wheel is not quite as centered up as the other one, but that was to be expected, because if you remember before, the fenders don't quite match side to side, and that's just part of dealing with an old car. But yeah, this is looking like it's really going to work out nicely. I will say though, it was a complete B to put in. Like, it just had to wiggle around and kind of get it going, and then I ended up having to set it down on the floor, and I mean the front end, and just to try to get everything to line up in there. Like, it was really not fun to do, and it was like move a little bit, push it a little bit, move it a little bit, push it a little bit, and then trying to get the holes lined up for the motor mounts, which of course I forgot to cut out a little bit bigger, so that took a little longer to get them kind of set into the two starter holes like I had set it up for before. But I know once I cut those, there'll be a little more room, and I think at this point I'm going to try to look and see how hard it would be to run a transmission crossmember, just to kind of hold everything in place. We've got miles of room to put the torque arm back in. Of course, that'll have to be custom fab, so at this point I want to make sure that the transmission gets supported, and then we'll move on to putting the rear suspension in, and when all that's done, then I'll build a custom torque arm. Another thing to note is I believe the stock ride height on the Corvette has the center of the upper pivots level with the center of the ball joint, so that thing should start gaining camber. However, we're just not in and up there, and I don't think we're going to, just because I'm pretty sure that this car is lighter than what a stock C4 is going to be, especially on the front end weight. Having a longer wheelbase too probably plays a factor in that. But I did check these, and one of these bolts, I think the front one here, actually is big enough that you can just pop this upper bolt out, move it down, and it bolts right in. The back one, also cut with an oval, it just has to be ground out because it's got two inner flanges and two outer flanges. The two outers are a little bit smaller, the inners are larger, so you just got to grind those outers. And I should be able to take this control arm, drop it down, we'll be dang near level or even slightly uphill. So if this ends up being, you know, the ride height that we're pretty close to, I can drop that down and then get proper camber gain out of the suspension. I did look up online that apparently you can pull the leaves out and grind the rubber off of them and get about an inch of lowering out of the front end on this car, which if this is the ride height, I'm definitely going to want to do that just to close up the wheel gap a little bit. We're at 3 inches right now. 2 was kind of the target, so we're going to be right about where I expected to come out. With the engine now centered, it's time to figure out something back here for Crossmember. Really, with doing the torque arm, if I did it the same way as the Vet, I really wouldn't need a Crossmember. However, I did cut out a lot of frame on both sides, plus it had a Crossmember in here to start with. I think it would be prudent to put one back in. We also have a ton of room up here. I can almost run a 1.5 inch square tube straight across the whole thing above the transmission. And that's probably what I'm gonna start with, and then angle it down and make some plates and then weld it right to the frame, because I shouldn't have to ever remove it. And if we wanted to, we could probably tie up into those bolts that are holding the seats in on that body Crossmember, just for a little extra reinforcement for the whole, you know, the assembly of the car as frame and body. But for now, I just wanted to try to get a Crossmember in here. I did center this up. We're about a 1/16 to the driver's side, actually, at the tail shaft and at the balancer up front, so it's nice and straight in the chassis. All of that is probably a little bit overkill, but like I said, we cut away quite a bit of frame from the 50. You want to reinforce that just because I don't want to end up having the drivetrain be structurally sound and then the body just kind of flopping around with the frame on the outside of it. So we'll end up welding that in is the plan. Then we got a nice solid mount point for the transmission and the torque arm back to the rear end. Before I get too carried away with making that mount, I need to plan out some type of bushing. I'm going to go with just a round piece of bushing out of some, I think this is recycled PVC material. It's got a little bit of give to it. It's not quite as hard as Delrin, but it's, you know, stronger than rubber kind of a thing. I've used this for the transmission mount of my race car, and used it for motor mounts also for quite a long time. It's been fine. Got a piece of tube, so I'm gonna cut this down to a more appropriate size, and then this is the same size, so I'll be able to put a flange on here, make 2 pieces that press in from the ends, and then this will be one that I can make like that C-channel type thing that's gonna wrap around the transmission and have the nuts tacked on the top side, and we can have an extra little tank that comes off, holds this, and then I can have my cross tube kind of go wherever, front and rear of that position, as long as it clears the nuts. And then I can have another little bracket coming off to latch on to making the tangs down on the side. And then we can just run a bolt through it front to back, and we'll have a nice transmission mount. And then I also have some larger diameter Delrin that I'll use to make motor mounts, so that everything's, you know, around a similar stiffness, rather than reusing the rubber mounts that I currently have it mocked up with. That was just simply an ease thing. They're kind of beat up and I really don't want to use them anyway. Before I get too carried away with making that mount, I need to plan out some type of bushing. I'm going to go with just a round piece of bushing out of some, I think this is recycled PVC material. It's got a little bit of give to it. It's not quite as hard as Delrin, but it's, you know, stronger than rubber kind of a thing. I've used this for the transmission mount of my race car and used it for motor mounts also for quite a long time. It's been fine. Got a piece of tube, so I'm going to cut this down to a more appropriate size. And then this is the same size, so I'll be able to put a flange on here, make 2 pieces that press in from the ends. I'm going to do the trans mount a little different. This is kind of the plan where we got the transmission here, we got that measurement. I'm going to run tubes, or I'm going to run flat plate across, out, up, and back so we can put the bolt through. And I'm going to be able to run 2 tubes to build our torque arm out of, and then I'm going to leave a bunch of extra on here that we can go over and make the trans mount bushing fit. And then I'll have a mount that goes across the car, holds the back of the transmission up. So I'm kind of hybriding this torque arm setup, but this should work out well for being able to make it work. So check out this little trick that I just did. I'm bending it with the Swag off-road bender, and I didn't want too tight of a corner because I wanted it to match up with this tube as much as possible to maximize weld area. You know, that's where I'm trying to make the spacing and then have plenty of weld to hold what's going to be the fabricated torque arm. So I started out the bend until I got the initial curve started. And I felt like if I went any further, I was going to go past what the radius is of this tube. At which point I backed it off, and then I just happened to grab this piece because it was the width I needed to cover what my bend was. Just for reference, this is an 1 3/4 tube, and this is a 1 inch wide piece of flat steel that's 3/16. And I just laid it underneath the point of my press to basically widen out the bottom. Ideally, I think to make a perfect radius for this, I'd have to make like a different die for the press. But this was just a matter of spreading out where the bending force was happening. And I pretty much bent it till it bottomed out, and I ended up about 6 degrees short of having a full 90. At which point I took this back out and then set this back in there and then pushed in the point corner to make the full 90 degrees. Well, this is going to be the difficult part because I don't know enough about bend radiuses and center of bend locations and things like that to know exactly where to bend this to make sure that this inside dimension comes out correctly, because I still need to put another 90 in it. I'm just taking a rough guess based on where my first line was at and where I ended up, kind of a thing, and going to go with this line. As long as I'm close, I can make it work. This project has also been making an incredible amount of smoke and dust in the garage here, and I can only wear my respirator so much, so we're trying to do a makeshift box fan air filtration system in here, so I might have a little fan noise in the background for some of the video clips. Target was 5 3/4, and we're a 1/16 under that. Yeah, a little bit tighter to the inside, but it's not bad. Maybe an 1/8 inch on average off. So, pretty happy. That was what I was shooting for. Downside is, it should have been 4 3/4, not 5. So, rather than scrap this whole thing, I'm okay with the spacing being a little bit farther apart. I'm just going to make some spacers to work out the height difference because I wasn't perfect anyway. It would have been a little bit too narrow. So I am just going to keep moving along with this piece. So I'll get the holes drilled, I'll mock it up, I'll measure how big a spacer I need, and then we'll just bolt it together that way. Here's the final product of my torque arm mount. We are mounted based on the transmission crossmember in just a hanging force. You know, if you didn't notice, I did take the time to make a nice arc on the top of that arm, and nobody's ever gonna see it, but I want to do that versus just a hard cut. And then with that mountain there, it'll be just nice. It supports the weight good. Here was my oops on my measurement. However, I made the spacers a little bit small, so it actually sandwiches this together, which probably kind of a blessing in disguise because that'll help with installation and removal in the future. I plan on tack welding the nuts on top. I'm going to leave these spacers I made loose. I'm not going to weld those on, just in case there's ever any little issue. We got more wiggle room for getting it installed and out. With the engine and transmission set in place, that'll be it for this video. In the next one, regarding the 50 coupe build, we're going to be tackling the torque arm and rear suspension. Before we get to the torque arm, also we got to get the rear suspension in, located, make sure we don't have to cut any sheet metal back there, and just kind of see how everything's going to play out as far as room in the back. It looks like, much like the front, it's going to be very, very tight to the sheet metal, and we just got to kind of get it in place and figure that out, but that'll be in the next video.